Hey, what's up DIYers? Mike Boards with the Mike Boards channel. Thank you for watching. We're talking sump pumps today, and in today's video, a basic overview of the sump pump system and how it works. And also during this video, you will get to see bits and pieces of our radon system. Let's take a look. All right, DIYers, here we are outside, coming off our deck. I do want to show you where the exit plumbing for our sump pump system is, and there it is. Comes out of the brick wall, travels down at an angle, meets in with the downspout plumbing, goes underground underneath our sidewalk, and feeds out to the discharge point of the plumbing, where the water again is pumped out, where it then flows downhill to a location far from our house, and to a location that is very unlikely to cause any structural damage or harm to our foundation. Again, that is quite a ways. You can see the bottom or low point where the water is, and it has iced. It is early in the morning, so I wanted to show you that. Let's head to a different location of the home and talk more about the downspouts. Making our way to the front portion of the home, and I want to direct our attention to the downspouts here. And as you can see, it goes through the concrete surface of our sidewalk, and coming all the way up where it meets the gutter. When it rains, all the water enters into the gutter and makes its way through the downspouts and into their respective tubes and through the concrete on either side of our main entrance here, as you see there, where it goes underground underneath the house and is routed to the sump pump basin. And here shortly we'll be inside on the computer showing you a diagram so you have a better familiarization and image of what we're talking about. And turning this way, there is an additional downspout, and you can see it just feeds directly through our concrete slab. And here we are taking a big step back, and that is where we just were, right up there and on the other side of our garden, actually standing in our garden. I did want to show you this downspout as well, feeding into the soil of our garden, and again making its way where it will be routed to our sump pump basin. All right, DIYers, hey, we are back inside, and I want to hop on the computer and show you this computerized image of the entire sump pump and basin setup. And you can see the sump pump basin, you can see the plumbing and pipe, you can see the check valve, and how it feeds all the way up through the floor and turns right and goes through the brick wall and makes its way outside where the discharge is. And again, when we were just outside, you actually got to see our discharge and additional portions of our system that include the gutters and downspouts, and how it feeds into the ground, where it is then rerouted through the underground plumbing and all the way to the basin right here where the sump pump is. However, again, I want to hit the computer and basically talk about the image so you can have a better understanding and view of the system. And what we'll do is we'll start right down here. Again, this is the basin or chamber, and right there is your electrical sump pump. And the purpose of that sump pump is to detect the water that enters into the basin, and as the water rises and activates the sump pump float, the sump pump turns on and pumps all the water upstream through the plumbing, past the check valve, and up and out of the house, and making its way outside as it exits the discharge pipe. So with that understanding, we'll come back to the basin and sump pump. And as far as the measurements or size of each of the basins, with a standard design, it's about 2 to 3 feet deep and 18 inches in diameter. Now, depending on your house or where your basin and sump pump system is installed, the size of your basin may vary. However, again, as it rains or snows and then melts, all that water coming off our roof and into our gutter system and traveling through the downspouts and into our sump pump plumbing will then be routed all the way to our sump pump basin, where it will then be pumped out of our house. And coming up the pipe right here, again, the check valve and all that is a one-way check valve that only allows water to be pumped or flowed upstream. In other words, once the sump pump activates and pumps water up, once the water passes this check valve and the basin empties with water and the sump pump turns off, any water upstream on this portion or north of the check valve cannot flow back and enter into the basin. It basically stops right here. And that is a very important feature of the sump pump system, as well as required for code purposes. However, let's talk about the plumbing to the right of the basin, which is underground as well as outside or on the exterior portion of your foundation and wall. And you can see here foundation drain with a weeping tile pipe design. And what that is basically a normal pipe with very small weeping holes in the pipe that will allow the water to seep through under the grass, into the dirt, into the soil, make its way down to the pipe, and seep into those holes where it can then be routed into your basin. And DIYers, that plays a huge role in the strength of your foundation long term. Because the less water you have surrounding your foundation, the less likely your foundation is going to dip or sink or shift or move or whatever, which honestly, none of those you want. Because unfortunately, that could lead to added stress to your foundation and cause structural damage to your foundation. So having a sump pump system installed in your home serves a significant purpose and benefit to the long-term strength and reliability of your foundation. So again, this entire system reduces the risk of water damage to the underground part of your home. And DIYers, when there's a lot of water in the ground, when it rains, when again the snow melts and the water seeps below the surface, the last thing you want is your foundation and home resting on a significant body of water and moisture. So again, that is where this system comes into play and reroutes all of that moisture and water through the plumbing and weeping portions, both from the exterior as well as underground right here, and into the basin where the sump pump can pump it out of your house to a location on your property that is far less likely to allow the water to come back near the home or foundation. And DIYers, just think about it. The more time that goes by that your home is resting on a very moist and wet portion or surface of the earth, the more likely your home is going to incur or experience structural or foundational damage. So again, very important. And real quick, before we move on, if you have a sump pump system already installed in your home, or you just got one installed, DIYers, make sure you contact your insurance company and inform them that you do have a sump pump system installed. And by doing that, you can actually save money on your homeowner's insurance premium and policy. So I recommend doing that. However, from here, what I want to do is actually go into our utility room and show you our exact sump pump system and basin or chamber so you can see how it's set up. And as we go through that, you will notice that our basin is sealed, and that is because we have a radon system installed, and that is to proper code. It has to be sealed to meet proper code requirements for the radon system. And real quick, if you want to get to know more about radon systems, definitely check out the link scrolling above. We'll also post that link down below in the comments and description. However, from here, let's head to the utility room. Here we are inside the utility room, and where our furnace is, our tankless water heater, and our pegboard, a whole bunch of leftover parts from DIY repair videos, as well as our Craftsman shrine. We're a big Craftsman fan, sister company of DeWalt, owned by Stanley Black & Decker. However, check this out. There is our sump pump chamber, and our pipe feeds all the way up. Just to the left of our radon pipe, and our sump pump is inside here, and it's raining pretty aggressively. Let's take a look down into the actual pipe. And again, all of the rain on the roof is pouring into the gutters, and the gutters is feeding it through the entire system all the way down to this point where it makes it inside the chamber, and the sump pump will actually reach a level and turn on the pump and push all that water out, as you see. And you can hear the water flowing through the actual pipes when the sump pump turns on and pushes it up the pipe. Right here, the pipe goes all the way in and is connected to the sump pump, as you see right there, just on top of it or to the right of it. And you see the float, and it comes up here, goes through here, and all the way up. And this is a one-way check valve. In other words, water is only allowed to flow that way, as you see with the arrow, and outward and up and out of the house. And in the event that this fails, well, unfortunately, water will actually flow backwards, and that's not what you want.